Welcome friends of WildRift to another RiftGuides episode, and for today we're going to take a look at the high ELO tier list for patch 3.3a. This time around we gotta present you the most broken champions you can ask for, and you'll be surprised in some departments. But first let's talk about our question of the day. What are your thoughts on Kassadin so far? Let me know in the comments below. Let's start with the Baron lane as per usual, and here we have Jax as the pick of the patch for you. This champion has been buffed into Oblivion and is now actually kind of broken in the Baron lane compared to his former jungle Dominion. Let's just briefly summarize what Jax does, and it's basically just scale, farm and bonk people to death. The damage of this champion once he reaches like just one item is absurd, be it a Triforce or Divine Sundra. Depending on the game state and depending on who you are and what you want to play against, Divine Sundra against Triforce is a never-ending discussion, and most of the time Divine Sundra wins because it just makes you invincible. However, in some situations where you're snowballing heavily and you want to just win the game through side laning, then Triforce becomes a valid option. Nonetheless, Divine Sundra just broken, so please just pick it. But let's talk about Jax's lane for a second. In his laning phase, he loves to have Counter-Strike available because this allows him to just walk into the wave and trade with whomever he wants to. If anyone goes close, he just AoE stuns everything around him, including minions, which is the most deadly thing in the early game. Minions, they hurt like hell, so if you just disable them by stunning them or just avoiding their auto attacks by using your Counter-Strike, it becomes significantly easier. The next thing is his auto attack reset on his second ability, which makes it even more annoying. Another thing you can even take advantage of is post level 5. What you can do is you can hit a minion twice and then jump onto an enemy for an all-in or a fast trade, because then the passive for your ultimate procs as well, which means accelerated burst damage in a trade, which is always nice. And now let's take a look at our full tier list for the Baron lane. Next up comes an all-time classic in the jungle department. Here we have Kha'Zix once again, because this champion yet again avoids nerfs after nerfs after nerfs because he's just fundamentally broken in what he does and how he's played and what he can do. Especially broken at this moment is the fact that jungle got buffed again. Don't worry guys, it was a lie that jungle was nerfed. Nope, jungle was actually buffed because now he has an easier time clearing the jungle like any other jungle. Because quote unquote, they removed brutal, which didn't really matter anyway because most junglers didn't even use brutal, and the clear time wasn't even really much impacted by not taking brutal, only like a few seconds, which didn't even matter. But now you have access to Vampirism or Triumph on most junglers, which is just very broken to have. Especially if you are part of the Divine Sundra, Black Cleaver, Trifecta abusers that even go death stands afterwards, even though those items got nerfed, it's still broken as hell. And this is something you just have to keep in mind. Kha'Zix, for example, can do 4 camps with a minor leash before the Scuttle Crab spawns, which is red buff, raptors, wolves and gromp. You just don't do the blue buff early on because it takes too long. Then if you want to actually do the fighting, you can do so as a level 4 against usually level 3 jungler. Otherwise, I just recommend full clearing as much as possible because getting to level 5 is the most important thing, because yet again, level 5 of Kha'Zix is broken. First ability evolve kills everything in your way. Then it's about farming towards power spikes, but what are the power spikes for a Kha'Zix? It's Duskblade, level 5, level 9, level 13. And as the game goes on, you can slap items such as the Black Cleaver onto your champion, and the Death's Dance, and so on. But there's another little secret that you can actually abuse. If you're running Hunter Vampirism, you can actually go Gluttonous Griefs, because with those you'll just instantly full heal on any objective, or just dip away into the jungle for a brief moment and full heal yet again and come back to fight. This can be really helpful, especially since blue buff lost its HP regen out of combat, so once you have this you'll actually kinda smurf on people because they will never expect you to full heal instantaneously. Anyway, this is our full tier list for the jungle role. Next up on this list comes Kassadin, and of course, since he's a new champion, we just feature him as the pick of the patch, and he's actually quite insane if he gets to scale. As a quick reminder about what he does, he basically silences with his first ability, gets extended auto attack range with his second ability plus mana regen, and then AoE slow and damage with his third ability, and he can relocate himself with his ultimate. His passive is a bit weird, it's just upon spellcasting around an enemy champion he just gets a magic shield, which I think is not really that great, it could be way better. Anyway, let's get to talk about the build of Kassadin. In this game, he most likely rushes Rod of Ages, then into a tier item, then Rabadon, then most likely Lichbane and Void Staff. The order could be jumbled around, but these are kind of the cookie cutter items for Kassadin. So what are the problems of Kassadin? Kassadin's lane isn't the strongest because he can get bullied quite easily due to how the champion works. Nonetheless, if you play well with Electrocute into melee champions, you can trade back pretty nicely. And especially when you max your third ability, which is the ability you want to max the fastest as possible, you'll deal quite a lot of AoE damage and clear waves instantaneously if you combine it with your ultimate ability, which then allows you to do anything you want. That's also the reason why you go for Archangel Staff later on, because you just need a mana. You just need the mana, otherwise you just can't do anything, and it's just crazy. Conveniently enough, when you ult into the entire enemy team and you press the stasis enchant, well, you will have another ultimate charge later, on level 13, easily up again once the stasis enchant wears off, and then you can just ult in again or just ult out. So you can either play for time or play for more damage, and we all love DPM, right? We all love dealing damage. This is our full tier list for the middle lane. Next up comes the AD carry role, and I hate to break it to you guys, playing mage is just 50 times easier than playing any type of AD carry. It's just how it is. They just bring more to the table, do more, are easier, and whatsoever. Anyone that tries to tell you any different is just straight up lying, because they just get to farm people that are terrible, and yeah, that's the case. And most of the time they play Lucian or Tristana, which basically just kill bad players on cooldown. The mage, on the other hand, doesn't have the ability to do so. However, it doesn't matter if he does so, because once the mage reaches the one item he needs, Luden's Echo, he just kills everything anyway. That's the fun part, because it's so unbelievably broken compared to normally playing an AD carry, because positioning matters and getting close basically gets you killed, but just flinging in spells on cooldown is just so much easier in this type of game. And you'll find way more success climbing, winning, being in competitive, playing in any tournament you want to, playing a mage and playing an AD carry. And it's just how it goes, and I hate to break it to you, and you'll probably hate me for it, but if you play it, you'll win way more games than playing AD carry. It is just what it is. Outside of mage-like AD carries, that's a different story. But let's quickly talk about what makes Brand so unbelievably annoying to deal with. Once he reaches level 3, he can basically just one-tap you if he's running Electrocute. If he tags you with a spell, then stuns you, and then pops his passive on you plus Electrocute plus Ignite, you are basically dead. And once he hits level 5, ganking a Brand becomes really risky, because once you go close to him, he just ults you and sends you into the Shadow Realm. Amazing, isn't it? And please don't build Leandri on this champion, it's most likely a bait. Just go full AP, blast people and blow them up. It's fun as hell. And this is our full tier list for the AD carry role. Last but not least, we have probably the highest skill ceiling champion in the support role we've seen in quite a long time, and this is Pyke. I'm saying this because you can die instantaneously if you make a mistake, which is the primary problem of this champion. Hence why he's receiving buffs and is often seen as too weak. But if you play well, and I think if you're a one-trick on this champion, you'll pilot this champion exceptionally well, you'll demonize the map so easily, it's crazy. But what is it that makes this champion so obnoxious to deal with? Number one, it's the hook range. It's basically your entire screen, and I'm not even joking, it literally is. The second thing is, it's basically impossible to dodge his ultimate unless you know it's coming. And even then, you need your flash or stasis enchant or any movement ability, and otherwise you will still get caught in it, because hitboxes in WildRift, you know, Nami bubble, so dodging, nope. But what is Pyke's actual purpose, and what does he have to do? Pyke's purpose is to find picks around the map. He just goes invisible and roams the map with his Youmuu's Ghostblade and just speeds around and hopes to pick people off. With this pick off, they'll just try to go for objectives or snowball the game in any kind of way. However, once we get into teamfight territory, Pyke needs to be very careful. He can just yeet people with his little yoinker, but once it gets into like close quarter situations, he can get popped immediately. Therefore, he needs to be patient, and patience is a virtue for this champion. The more patient you become and the more aware you become, the more success you will find with this champion. It's just about identifying risk and potential reward in any situation, and then you will smurf it easily. And this is our full tier list for the support role. You want more Rift guides? Then tune in for the next time when we show you even better stuff. See ya.